Welcome, it's Mike here. Today I'm in Vientiane, the capital city of Laos. This video I'm going to show you a couple of shopping centres in the downtown area of Vientiane. People coming to Laos don't really understand what is available as far as retail shopping, the standard of the shopping centres, etc. So I'll show you some of those. Also here I'm in Vientiane Centre and there was a motor show going on at the time. I've got the sound down because there was music playing, so for copyright reasons I've had to turn that down. But this was interesting, this area. This was a motor show that was set up, and just about all the cars that on display were from China. China and Laos have got a very strong business relationship, mainly through the China-Laos railway network, but also through the Chinese economic zone up north. And there's lots of Chinese development investment throughout Laos, so it's not surprising to see a motor show which features just about all Chinese cars. A lot of these cars, me coming from Australia, I'd never seen before, so it was interesting for me. I had been to the Shanghai Motor Show back in 2018, which was my first look at Chinese cars. But this 7 years later, this is a big improvement, these cars. This car here, a white one here, it's got a Volkswagen badge on it. There's the Volkswagen badge, but it's got a Chinese model name. So I thought, hang on, what's going on there? That's unusual. But regarding Laos and car sales, just to give you a bit of an idea on what's happening there, Toyota's still number one car sold in Laos. However, BYD, which is a big Chinese brand, has just taken second spot off Hyundai in 2024. BYD sales grew by an astronomical 85.6% in 2024. Now here's a couple of Nissans here, which was surprising because just about everything else was from China. Also electric cars, which the Chinese specialise in, they had an 80% increase in sales in Laos in 2024. Now this model here, this is another Chinese brand called Skyworth, which I'd never seen before. But yeah, the cars, the quality of finish and the styling is just improved incredibly from when I first saw them in 2018. So you ask about the price of a new car in Laos. Well, of course, that's difficult to give you an accurate figure because there's so many different makes and models. But basically, Chinese cars, brand new, will vary between $10,000 and $30,000 US dollars to buy. Then you have to pay import duty and taxes on top. You can buy lower speed, very small Chinese electric cars with 4 seats, and they can start at around $4,500 US, plus the import duty and taxes. Of course, there's so many different models. They go up from there. The BYD Han EV, it's all electric sedan. That's the flagship model. That starts at $14,400 US. So yeah, there's a lot of different models. These cars here on display, they can range up to $30,000 to $40,000 US. Now, when I was in Laos, I didn't see a lot of these new cars on the road in many of the cities like Luang Namtha, Luang Prabang, Vang Vientiane, Nong Kiao. You don't see a lot of new cars on the road there. In Vientiane, the capital, there was more late model Chinese cars. A lot of Toyota Hiluxes, second hand, a lot of Ford Ranger dual cab utes. They're very popular there. I saw many of those on the road. There's a BMW there on display. I think there was only one or two of those on display at this motor show. These smaller little Chinese 4-door, 4-seaters, they're coming onto the market. At the moment, as we speak, in May 2025, the Laos government has put a temporary ban on the import of luxury vehicles. So of course that's going to have an impact on availability and the price. It's also going to affect the price of the second-hand stock that's on the market at the moment as well. Now this car in front of here is an interesting one. It's an all-wheel drive, a Chinese vehicle, and it's had a camper installed to its roof. I looked at that, I didn't know what that was. I thought it might have been a change room or a shower. But this was a pretty impressive vehicle. It had awnings around two sides of the vehicle, which clipped onto the side of the vehicle. And the only trouble it was a bit low for me. I've knocked my head on that. But up the top there's a pop-up bed, which is installed to the top of the ladder. So that was pretty good. That was a nice camping option there. Also at the display I saw this Bentley. Unusual to see a Bentley on display in Vientiane, Laos. I did see them up in the Chinese economic zone, up in the Golden Triangle. I saw Rolls Royce and Bentley. But here I'm in Vientiane and there's one on display here. V8 bi-turbo. So yeah, that was unusual to see that. So yes, I hope you enjoyed that, looking at a few of the cars that are available in Vientiane. I've had a lot of messages and comments in some of the videos asking me about the cars, what's available in Laos. So yeah, I hope hope that's handy for you. Yeah, so it's interesting to note that the Vientiane Motor Show, I reckon 80% of the cars here on display are Chinese. There's a couple of Mercedes-Benz, there's a couple of BMWs, there's one or two Nissan, and I have not seen Toyota or Mazda, so it's predominantly Chinese cars. This is their market. So this is what they do. This is a relationship with Laos, you see. So the cars are very good too, really good. There's so many different models that we don't like. Look at this little 2-door, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's 2-door, 2 front seats, 2 seats in the back. See, there's so many different brands of Chinese cars now too. Here's another one. So, very interesting. Always love to see a good motor car show to see where the cars are heading. Here's a Kia here, so there is a Korean car. But as I said, most of them are Chinese brands. So when I get into Vientiane, the capital here, and I'm just getting around looking at the shopping centres and that type of thing. This is out the front of one of their big shopping centres, Laos Naga Shopping Mall. The Vientiane centre there. So I'd have a look at the shopping centres, and that normally gives you a good indication of how the city or a country is going when you look at the presentation of their shopping centres. So I'll have a look through this one. And this one looks like it's top notch. It's right in the main centre of the shopping precinct here. It looks like it's probably the #1 shopping centre, shopping mall. So there, this is a lot more modern, lot better than the last one I was in, the Vientiane Centre. This is another shopping mall, but this is much more modern, more futuristic. And out the front here, what have we got? BJ60. Beijing. That's the brand. That's a Chinese make, and the name is Beijing. Well, how's that? I didn't know that. There's a model called Beijing. BJ60. It's got that grey muffled look about it. But see, look at this. I've walked into the #1 shopping centre, and the first thing you see is Chinese cars on display. Now have a look at that. You'd swear that was a Jeep, wouldn't you? If you look at that. But no. BJ40 Plus, another Chinese brand. So they're incredible for the way they can restyle a car off of other manufacturers and reproduce something that's very, very similar. Here's another one, a standard saloon passenger car, also by the same company, Beijing. So I reckon I've seen at least half a dozen different Chinese manufacturers in these two shopping car displays. Yeah, here's another one, Beijing. That's a people mover. That's a nice looking car, that too. That's got, gee, the styling's improved incredibly. PAIC. Yeah, so now you know why Chinese cars are we've taken over Asia. I'm amazed I haven't seen any Toyotas on display here. No Mazda, hardly any no Hyundai, one Kia, no Mitsubishi, nothing. So it's all Chinese. It's a lovely shopping centre. Front entrance and very modern, but you don't see a lot of the world international brands in Laos. There's a Starbucks there, but you very rarely see a lot of the main chains like this. I haven't seen a Burger King, I haven't seen a McDonald's, I haven't seen a KFC. And all the other coffee brands that we see around the world, I haven't seen them here. I might see some in this shopping centre because it's very new, but that's a beautiful Starbucks there. But that's about all you see. Most of it's all their own brand names. For those who are thinking of coming to Laos and who possibly may not know, Laos is a communist state. The Laos People's Revolutionary Party is the only legal political party in Laos. The one-party system is based on communist ideology. Yeah, I think it's still under construction. I don't think there's any shops up on those levels up there. They look pretty empty. Oh, here we are. We've got Toyota. So Toyota have got a display here. Toyota Land Cruiser there. Yeah, so yeah, very much in the back seat though. So yeah, it's a lovely shopping centre, but doesn't appear to be. I'll go up the elevators here. There doesn't appear to be too much going on at these upper levels. No. No, they're not empty, they're all empty. So this is either just still under finishing completion, or it's struggling to find tenants because there's a lot of empty spaces here. Yes. Yeah, that's not good, is it? But oh well, we'll see what happens with Laos over the next 5 years. It's everybody you talk to say it's taken a while for Laos to bounce back from COVID. People haven't come back in numbers, and the economy's struggled a bit. So we've got a few shops here. Yeah, so this is very much upmarket. This shopping centre's catering for the upmarket. There's nothing else I've seen in Vientiane like this. It's all much older, much more basic. There's lots of jewellery shops in here, gold shops. Thank you for watching. If you got to the end, appreciate that very much. Bye for now.